Good evening, class. I am Mr. Marcus Sugg, or Coach Sugg, if you would like to refer to me as that. And we are getting ready to enter into a unit here that we have talked about previously. And this particular section of our unit is going to be about nutrition. Now, we have a threefold objective, or three objectives that we want to accomplish in this particular unit. By the end of this program, and the purpose of this period of instruction will be for you to be able to identify food groups, what high and low density foods are, and the effect that they have on your bodies and so forth. That's our first objective. Secondly is going to be for us to each be able to set up a Choose My Plate profile with a website that is one of many tools that will help us to track the nutrients that we put into our body, and also be able to analyze our diets and create a plan for better nutrition. And we're also going to create a motivational board project to help us along our way. And thirdly, to have a better understanding of our bodies and how nutrition affects our bodies. We're going to be able to discuss and articulate the long-term benefits of a healthy lifestyle and potentially be a positive influence on our friends and family. Now, stepping outside the teacher role for a second, at the very beginning here with my objectives, I have addressed the cognitive, which is where the students will be able to demonstrate their knowledge of the food groups, and the high and low density caloric foods and so forth. Psychomotor, in that they will have the two activities. One is to create their own profile with choosemyplate.gov, and then also to create their moto board. And then the third one on Bloom's taxonomy is the affective, which is for them to have a better understanding of their bodies and how nutrition affects their bodies, and to be able to discuss and articulate in long-term benefits of a healthy lifestyle, and to be a positive influence on their friends and family. Now back into teacher mode. Okay, class, we got 5 food groups that we need to talk about. Not that everything we eat falls within these food groups, but these are the food groups that basically include the nutrients that we need to have as human beings to function properly. There's fruits, there's vegetables, you have protein foods, grains, and dairy products. Now your fruits, that's things like apples, bananas, oranges, kiwis, grapes, blueberries, strawberries, all kinds of berries and so forth. Your vegetables, you've got your leafy greens like spinach, bok choy, you've got tomatoes, squash, corn, broccoli, carrots. Grains, is another food category. Oats, whole wheat bread, nuts, pastas. Protein foods, there's lean meats like salmon and tuna and chicken. Then there's not so lean meats, which would be like our hamburgers and stuff like that, ham and bacon and things of that nature. Eggs, peanut butter. All of these are really good sources, some better than others, but sources of protein. And then you have your dairy products. That would be anything that has milk in it. You've got milk, you've got cheese, you've got yogurt, there's ice cream, which may not be that healthy, but it is a dairy product. You've got cream cheese, cottage cheese, any kind of your cheeses, milkshakes, all those things are dairy products. Now, stepping outside the teacher role, this and the slides that follow, many of these will address the visual spatial intelligence, in that it is an effort to help the students to visualize where the foods they eat fall within these different categories. Now, there's 2 types of foods that we want to talk about. Now, the first of which is probably one that you don't eat a whole lot of, unfortunately. And these are high density foods, and they're foods that have a high nutrient to calorie ratio. That means that they're relatively low in calories, but they're very rich in the nutrients that our bodies as humans need to have in order to function properly in the way that they were designed and created. And then you have your low density or empty calorie foods. These are foods that have a high caloric to nutrient ratio, which means that they may be very high on calories, they might be quite filling, they might be very delicious, and they might meet all of your caloric needs for a given day. However, they're very low when it comes to nutrients and so forth. That would be like your hamburgers, your French fries. One of my favorite burgers to get once in a great while is Wendy's, I think it's Bison double bacon cheeseburger. That bad boy sandwich by itself is about 1,500 calories. If you add a large fry and a drink with that, you're sneaking right up on 2,000 plus calories a day. And someone for my build and so forth, I have a caloric recommendation or level, target level of about 2,600 calories a day. Problem is when I eat a burger like that or a meal like that, I have just about maxed out my calorie input for the day, but I have severely sacrificed or displaced many nutrients that are not in that meal that my body would need to function properly. Now the problem with that is when I eat those kind of meals, I don't go hungry, I don't starve, and I'm able to function, but I can have some pretty significant problems in that I'm not getting the nutrients that I need. Now let's talk about how these different types of food affect our body. How does a high density nutrient rich diet affect our, or high density nutrient rich diet affect our body? Well, for instance, as you can see in the picture here, we've got a couple of very attractive bodies here with nice, ripped abs. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 8-pack there, okay? Well, if you work out in the gym until you're just blue in the face and you turn yourself into a puddle of sweat, but you're eating high caloric foods with very little nutrients, you might have a 6-pack off in there somewhere, but nobody's going to see it, okay? Because guns are made in the gym, but abs are made in the kitchen, okay? The reason why these people look like this, they eat high nutrient, low caloric foods. Benefits: you have low LDL cholesterol. LDL cholesterol is the type of cholesterol that basically facilitates plaque buildup in your heart and in your arteries and so forth. You have a reduced risk for diseases, cardiovascular diseases, with a high density nutrient rich diet. Better overall bodily functions, you sleep better, you have more energy, and you have improved overall health. Not to mention the fact that you're probably going to have a better self-image as well. Now, by contrast, how does a low density or empty calorie diet affect your body? Well, as you can see by Joe Schmuckatelli here, and he's getting ready to throw down on one of my favorite kind of burgers, he probably eats a lot of this kind of food. Well, the problem is he's going to have high cholesterol. Regardless of his genetic makeup, he's almost undoubtedly going to have hypertension or high blood pressure, because these meals not only have a high caloric content, but they typically have a much higher than what is healthy sodium content as well. You have a high risk for heart disease, impaired bodily functions in general, low energy, and just impaired health in general. Now, the frustration can be, especially in the culture that we live in, where everywhere you look there's fast foods, there's burgers, there's french fries, there's hot dogs, there's chili mac, there's wings, Wingstop, tacos, burritos. How can I know what to eat and what not to eat? Well, the answer to that is that you've got to have the right tools, okay? And let me go back just a moment as I'm stepping out of the teacher mode here. Okay, and to kind of describe what I'm doing here. At this point, I'm going to segue with the students, and as I talk about having the right tools, we're going to direct the students onto the website, choosemyplate.gov, and each student is going to set up their own personal profile. They will subsequently start entering typical foods that they eat on a daily basis and learn how to analyze what they are eating based on USDA, RDAs, recommended intakes, and upper levels for the different areas as well. And then the next slide here is basically a picture of choosemyplate.gov. And we're also going to go into another picture here, which is what the food tracker looks like. And this is also going to cater to the logical mathematical, this project or activity is going to cater to the logical mathematical intelligence, in that students will learn how to calculate nutrient reports and see a logical progression in relation to their individual diets. And here's another more detailed page of where they've actually entered foods for a given meal and so forth. And again, as I mentioned earlier, with respect to the visual spatial, these are slides not to have them tied to like PowerPoint by death, or death by PowerPoint, excuse me, but to have them to be able to visualize what it is we're talking about. Now back to teacher mode. Okay, students, now that you've got your profile set up and so forth, we are beginning to see where we're at from a nutritional standpoint, from a healthy lifestyle standpoint. Question is, how can I know, or how can you know where you're going if you don't know where you are? That's how we use these different tools. And there are many tools that are available. On my phone, my iPhone, which is recording me right now, I use a tool called myfitnesspal.com. I love that because I've got my profile online. Every time I put something in my mouth, I can enter it into that, and I can track what I'm eating. Even before I eat it, I can put it in there and it'll tell me where I'm at with respect to fats, saturated fats, trans fats, nutrients, vitamins, and so forth. Very useful tools, and there's so many different ones that are available. There's really no excuse for us to not be paying close attention to the nutrients and the food stuff we put into our body. Now, at this point, stepping out of teacher mode, I'm going to turn them on to their second activity, which is where they're going to create a moto board project, a poster board where they're going to be equipped with the internet, fitness magazines, construction paper, scissors, tape, glue, color markers, and pencils. And they'll be instructed to create their own individual poster boards with motivational quotes, sayings, and images. And they will subsequently critique each other and share ideas on how to maximize the creativity of their project. This is going to address them from the interpersonal and bodily kinesthetic intelligence standpoint as well, because students will be working with others and also experiencing hands-on project in constructing their moto boards. Now back into teacher mode. Discussion time. Students, now that you've had these two activities, one that shows you how to track and analyze what you're putting in your body, and secondly, ways to motivate yourself as well as others. What's your game plan? We're going to, stepping outside teacher mode right here, interpersonal intelligences are incorporated here because the students will take time to reflect on what they have learned, and then verbal linguistic, in that the students will individually be required or asked to express their three main takeaways from this lesson before the entire class. Back into teacher mode. What's your game plan? Who can you recruit for your support group? Well, look around. All of your fellow students that are doing the same thing. You can be each other's support group. And then lastly, who do you know? Like your family and friends, others that could benefit from this same thing. You can make yourself your own poster child, so to speak, for nutrition, because if you adopt a healthy lifestyle like this, in a very short period of time, not only are you going to be able to see positive results in your own body, but your family and friends are going to as well, and you can use that to positively influence others. And this concludes our class for today.